Hey, what's going on, guys? Hang on. I'm getting alerted that my internet is not great. Bear with me a second. I'm going to fix it. Figure out what is going on here. Rex, I see you in the comments. Um, Let me see. There we go. I should be looking clear now. Not getting any notifications that poor video quality. We are going to be showing Mr. Joe Biden when he comes on screen. I'm not going to say walk on stage to come and address the nation because he is in the Oval Office, and I do believe that he will be uh, playing. We will probably be watching a recording. I don't think we're going to see a live Joe Biden, which is going to be interesting because does this really count? So if we don't see if we only see a recording tonight, which I'm thinking we will, if we only see a recording. Is this proof of life? Or is what we've already saw with him getting out of the car and getting into the airplane, which he walked very differently than he did the other day, does that count? I'm curious. Does that count as proof of life? But do me a favor, guys, as we are waiting for him to come up and greet us, I'm going to pull that back down real quick. Go ahead and give this a share out. Get it out there so we can have other people watch it. We can see what our wonderful president has to say. Let's go ahead and check out some of these comments. Let's see. Hey, Elena, Rhonda. It's probably a recording. I agree. Notification came through terribly late. Well, we just started 2 minutes ago, and I didn't schedule this on YouTube or Facebook until just 5 minutes ago. So 5-10 minutes ago. So that's probably why. No, it was a recording at the conference. Kamala almost messed up. Oh no, that one is that. There is actually a video. Maybe I can pull that up really quick. What's up? Let me see if I can pull that up. Who posted that? Dom Luker, I think, is who posted it. There is a video going around of Joe Biden at Kamala's press conference. Someone took the audio of Joe Biden speaking. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull this up. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to move this around so we can see it. Let me share that screen real fast, and we'll go over this real quick. So on the Kamala recording, so they took the audio of Joe Biden, ran it through an AI detection tool on the internet, and it came back and said that it is 98% likely that this thing was created by AI. But here, let's play this.
I know yesterday's news was surprising and it was hard for you to hear, but it was the right thing to do. I know it's hard because you poured your heart and soul.
What up, Clint?
Okay, let's just go on old 11 Labs and see if that's really all they probably used for this. So, upload. There we go.
Hey, Denise.
And let's see what we got.
Here we go. Open. Does its little processing thing.
Yeah, looks like they didn't even really try.
So I don't know.
Joe, are you watching? You hear this clapping?
Oh, this is
Can you see it?
disgusting.
I'm watching. I'm watching.
I knew it.
Yeah, I think that's ridiculous. Using AI, I think it was AI. I want proof of life from Joe Biden. So I really hope he actually speaks tonight. And I hope that he just resigns from his position. That's what I'm hoping. I know that's wishful thinking. What in the hell are you talking about, Casey? Why do you want him to resign? Because he is a risk to our country at this point, and I would rather have Kamala making the decisions for the next 6 months than him. But let's be honest, him and Kamala are not making the decisions anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Kelly, let's see. Is it really legit to transfer all of Biden's campaign funds to the Cackle Queen? There's some complication with this. I don't know all of the full details, but if you think about it, the DNC already started taking away $90 million saying Joe must step down. And that is what I believe they did. Is they took away that $90 million, knew that this was going to be happening, so they could reallocate. And that is something that they for sure can do. Now, if they already contributed it and checked it in the boxes, this is dedicated to Joe Biden's campaign. I think that is where it gets complicated. I think that $90 million was left to a PAC to figure out what they're going to do. And that is how it moved hands. And that is why, not why, but how Kamala Harris has set a record for donations, is because people already knew this was happening. They were withholding funds, and then they were going to all drop in all the funds right as Joe Biden drops out, so it can all go to Kamala. And that's where this whole thing was all planned. This is not a spur of the moment thing, in my opinion. This was all planned by the left, minus the Biden crime family. That is it. Other countries will not and are not ready to respect a woman president, especially one who is a buffoon. Yeah, she is. No, she has no chance, guys. Let's be honest. Kamala has zero chance to win. Zero. So I'm not worried about it. I don't see it happening. So we'll just see. Let me see here. I also have up on my other screen, I've been keeping an eye on the pro-Palestine protests earlier, just to kind of see what's going on. Here, I'll show you guys real quick. Will you be live streaming? Yes. Yes, we will have the whole thing. I bet it's going to be 3 minutes. I don't expect it to be very long. Let me show you guys. Like there, I have free pro-Palestine stuff going on the screen up here. Audio's kind of bad. So I just have this up here. Been keeping an eye on it. You guys haven't seen what was going on earlier today with pro-Palestine protests in Washington, D.C. They were, and I believe in New York, they were tearing things up, like destroying things, like spray paint. They took an American flag off of a flagpole, as I'm sure most of you have seen it, that has done its rounds on the internet today. Took an American flag off the flagpole and then raised up a pro-Palestine flag, a Palestine flag. Absolutely absurd and ridiculous. Those people, in my opinion, should be dealt with. And because we're on YouTube and Facebook, I can't say what I want. So I'll let your imaginations go wild with how they should be dealt with. But it is absolutely insane on what we are having going on right now. But here's what I believe will indicate whether it's a recording or if it's live. If it's a recording, it's going to start right at 6. So we got 6 Mountain Time, so 8 Eastern. So we got 1 minute. And so if it starts right away, we know it's going to be a recording. Joe Biden on his live speeches has never been on time. It's always been delayed. So that is going to be one indication that will tell us what it is, but we'll still listen and see what it is like. But throw in the comments. I see you guys in here. Throw in the comments what you want to hear him say. What do you expect out of him? I believe what is quoted is he's supposed to talk about why he is dropping out of the race, why he dropped out. So I'm curious to see what he says there, because if he's not fit to run for re-election, then he's not fit to run the country. So we'll kind of see. But throw in the comments what your ideas are. Clint, yes. So there was 2 Russian bombers with 2 Chinese bombers that went into airspace near Alaska. They did not go into our airspace, but they were very close. We sent up a few fighter jets to intercept them, and they went their mutual ways, and they never crossed over into our territory. We were just ready for it. And they came out and said that there's no threat of what was going on up there in Alaska, but still kind of odd. Still very odd to have 2 Russian planes and 2 Chinese planes come over to the airspace of Alaska close enough to where we dispatched a couple fighter jets just to intercept them. So we'll kind of see. They were big bomber planes too, which you kind of mentioned, bombers in Alaska. Yeah, so there were 4 of them. two Chinese, two Russian. Let's see what else. I hope he steps down. Me too. I want to hear him say the day he actually passed away. Yeah, that would be kind of weird. Want to know why his nose looks like it does? Probably did too much coke with Hunter. Any truth to Herb not being eligible? People need to stop with this. It's a lie. This is where people are taking things way too out of context. If you want to go and look up, here he is on time.
My fellow Americans,
Recorded.
I'm speaking to you tonight from behind the Resolute desk in the Oval Office.
Why does he
This
look
sacred
so
space,
orange?
I'm surrounded by portraits of extraordinary American presidents. Thomas Jefferson wrote the immortal words that guide this nation. George Washington showed us presidents are not kings. Abraham Lincoln, who implored us to reject malice. Franklin Roosevelt, who inspired us to reject fear. I revere this office, but I love my country more. It's been the honor of my life to serve as your president. But in the defense of democracy, which is at stake, I think is more important than any title. I draw strength and I find joy in working for the American people. But this sacred task of perfecting our union is not about me. It's about you, your families, your futures. It's about we, the people. We can never forget that. And I never have. I've made it clear that I believe America is at an inflection point. One of those rare moments in history when the decisions we make now will determine our fate of our nation and the world for decades to come. America's going to have to choose between moving forward or backward, between hope and hate, between unity and division. We have to decide, do we still believe in honesty, decency, respect, freedom, justice, and democracy? In this moment, we can see those we disagree with not as enemies, but as fellow Americans. Can we do that? Does character in public life still matter? I believe I know the answer to these questions because I know you, the American people. And I know this, we are a great nation because we are good people. When you elected me to this office, I promised to always level with you, to tell you the truth. And the truth, the sacred cause of this country is larger than any one of us. And those of us who cherish that cause, cherish it so much, the cause of American democracy itself, must unite to protect it. You know, in recent weeks, it's become clear to me that I need to unite my party in this critical endeavor. I believe my record as president, my leadership in the world, my vision for America's future, all merited a second term. But nothing can come in the way of saving our democracy. That includes personal ambition. So I've decided the best way forward is to pass the torch to a new generation. That's the best way to unite our nation. You know, there is a time and a place for long years of experience in public life. There's also a time and a place for new voices, fresh voices, yes, younger voices. And that time and place is now. Over the next 6 months, I'll be focused on doing my job as president. That means I'll continue to lower costs for hardworking families, grow our economy. I'll keep defending our personal freedoms and our civil rights, from the right to vote to the right to choose. I'll keep calling out hate and extremism. Make it clear there is no place in America for political violence or any violence ever, period. I'm going to keep speaking out to protect our kids from gun violence. Our planet from climate crisis is the existential threat.
Drugs are
I
already
will keep
wearing off.
fighting for my cancer moonshot so we can end cancer as we know it, because we can do it. I'm going to call for Supreme Court reform because this is critical to our democracy, Supreme Court reform. You know, I will keep working to ensure America remains strong, secure, and the leader of the free world. I'm the first president in this century to report to the American people that the United States is not at war anywhere in the world. We'll keep rallying a coalition of proud nations to stop Putin from taking over Ukraine and doing more damage. We'll keep NATO stronger, and I'll make it more powerful and more united than any time in all of our history. I'll keep doing the same for our allies in the Pacific. You know, when I came to office, the conventional wisdom was that China would inevitably surpass the United States. That's not the case anymore. And I'm going to keep working to end the war in Gaza, bring home all the hostages, and bring peace and security to the Middle East and end this war. We're also working around the clock to bring home Americans being unjustly detained all around the world. You know, we've come so far since my inauguration. On that day, I told you, as I stood in that winter, we stood in a winter of peril and a winter of possibilities. Peril and possibilities.
Because drugs are wearing
We were
off.
in the grip of the worst pandemic in the century, the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression, the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. We came together as Americans. We got through it. We emerged stronger, more prosperous, and more secure.
No, we didn't.
Today, we have the strongest economy in the world, creating nearly 16 million new jobs, a record. Wages are up. Inflation continues to come down. The racial wealth gap is the lowest it's been in 20 years. We're literally rebuilding our entire nation, urban, suburban, rural, and tribal communities. Manufacturing has come back to America. We're leading the world again in chips and science and innovation. We finally beat Big Pharma after all these years to lower the cost of prescription drugs for seniors. And I'm going to keep fighting to make sure we lower the cost for everyone, not just seniors. More people have health care today in America than ever before. And I signed one of the most significant laws helping millions of veterans and their families who are exposed to toxic materials. You know, most significant climate law ever in the history of the world. The first major gun safety law in 30 years. Today, the violent crime rate is at a 50-year low. We're also securing our border. Border crossings are lower today than when the previous administration left office. I've kept my commitment to appoint the first Black woman to the Supreme Court of the United States of America. I also kept my commitment to have an administration that looks like America and be a president for all Americans. That's what I've done. I ran for president 4 years ago because I believed and still do that the soul of America was at stake. The very nature of who we are was at stake. And that's still the case. America's an idea. An idea stronger than any army, bigger than any ocean, more powerful than any dictator or tyrant. It's the most powerful idea in the history of the world. That idea is that we hold these truths to be self-evident. We're all created equal, endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights. Life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
Correct. Liberty.
We've never fully lived up to it, to this sacred idea, but we've never walked away from it either. And I do not believe the American people will walk away from it now. In just a few months, the American people will choose the course of America's future. I made my choice. I've made my views known. I'd like to thank our great Vice President Kamala Harris. She's experienced, she's tough, she's capable.
No, she's
She's
not.
been an incredible partner to me and a leader for our country. Now the choice is up to you, the American people. When you make that choice, remember the words of Benjamin Franklin hanging on my wall here in the Oval Office, alongside the busts of Dr. King and Rosa Parks and Cesar Chavez. When Ben Franklin was asked, as he emerged from the convention going on, whether the founders have given America a monarchy or republic, Franklin's response was, a republic, if you can keep it. A republic, if you can keep it. Whether we keep our republic is now in your hands. My fellow Americans, it's been the privilege of my life to serve this nation for over 50 years. Nowhere else on earth could a kid with a stutter from modest beginnings in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claremont, Delaware, one day sit behind the resolute desk in the Oval Office as President of the United States. But here I am. That's what's so special about America. We're a nation of promise and possibilities, of dreamers and doers, of ordinary Americans doing extraordinary things. I've given my heart and my soul to our nation, like so many others. I've been blessed a million times in return with the love and support of the American people. I hope you have some idea how grateful I am to all of you. The great thing about America is here, kings and dictators do not rule, the people do.
The people do.
History is in your hands. The power is in your hands. The idea of America lies in your hands. You just have to keep faith, keep the faith. And remember who we are. We're the United States of America.
Yes.
And there's simply nothing beyond our capacity. And we do it together.
You're not uniting
So let's
anything.
act
Joe.
together. Preserve our democracy. God bless you all. May God protect our troops. Thank you.
Jesus. So we got what, a whole 3 minutes? Actually, no. It started right at 6, so we got 13 minutes out of that. Wow. He's improving. If that was recorded anytime recent. Is it your party now? Yeah. Well, and it's not his party. It's also the Republican Party. The Republican Party has a big sway in it too. But I want to touch on this. Like, yes, Joe Biden is creepy. I was waiting for him to whisper. I don't know why he does that. He is a weird individual. Like, he is just weird as he ignores DC now. That is correct. And that's what I keep looking up here to keep an eye on. Nothing crazy is going on, at least at the moment. But let me know what you guys think. We all know that was recorded. It was definitely odd with the color of his skin. So someone put a crap ton of makeup on him, and so it doesn't look right. And so that's why he looks that way. We did seeing him blink. So he didn't stare at the camera for 13 minutes, thankfully. That would have been even more creepy. But he did seem like he was hopped up on meds. His pace of speaking was changing. It was not really staying up on it. And so overall, I think that's a half-assed recording because I think that's all they can get. I think that's all. Yeah, Russo, you can jump in. Come jump in. I think we're going to start seeing him just fall off, and Kamala is going to come in and start doing all of the things, all of the speeches, all of the in-person things. And so that way she gets the credit, she gets in front of everybody, and hopefully gains some people's support. I don't know who's going to really support her because there is already a lot of people that hate her. Like, absolutely hate her. And so I just don't get it. However, we all know what is going to happen in November. It's very important that we have to remember to show up and vote in November. Even though it seems like it's a landslide, we got to make sure we show up and vote. I don't care who you vote for. I can give you some encouraging words on who to choose, but we have to make sure we are showing up to vote. Carol is a loving member of the left. Huh. Really? Where? So yeah, when it comes down to his speech, it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting something a little bit different, but it was a little bland. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Did you guys expect more, less, or was this on par for what we would expect from Joe Biden at this point? I think it was full of lies. There was a whole bunch of lies that he spewed, but there was some truth. He did put the first black woman in the Supreme Court. Like, okay, fine. Congratulations. Oh, this is who you're talking about. Oh, okay. Hi. He was fine and said positive things, unlike Trump, who actually says we are a nation in decline. We are a nation in decline. It's obvious. You don't think we're a nation in decline? Hang on. I will show you. A nation in decline has these problems. And I will pull it up on my screen. So bear with me 1 second. A nation in decline is celebrating this stuff. Burning our nation's flag that they just took down off of a flagpole. Let me mute that. Burning the flag and saying, burn that shit. It is because of Trump. Carol, can I remind you who is currently president today? Who is president today? Did the president condemn this activity? Did Kamala Harris condemn this activity? Did they come out and say, we are a nation that is united and we do not burn our nation's flag? This is a sign of a nation that is in decline. When you have people running amok and having disrespect for our country, wanting to live in a third world country, but they want to bring it here to the freest nation in the world. No, if you want that, go to one of those countries and see how you behave. You wouldn't even last a day over there. This is why we say in the United States, our nation is in decline. So yes, it is not because of Trump. It is because of people like you with this mentality are obsessed with Trump and blaming him for everything when Kamala and Joe Biden have been in charge for the last 4 years. You refuse to acknowledge it. That is the part that's ridiculous. And is it a felony? Technically, this one would be, because it is not their flag. It is not their flag, so they are taking somebody else's property and burning it, and that is the stipulation. If I remember correctly, is you can burn an American flag. You just cannot go and take somebody else's American flag and burn it. So, yes, TDS is real. That is for sure. Like, hey, come on. Like, let's use our brains here. When it comes to everything that we have going on today, that in Washington, D.C., and you can't acknowledge that our country is actually in decline, is quite sad. Very sad. We have to start doing better in these scenarios. People with TDS can't acknowledge for the last 4 years we have been under their regime, and they still are denying that they had any involvement in this. What up, Russo?
What up? I can't wait to get into that piece of garbage thing. Why are there gaps in the comments? What did I miss? Somebody said people like you, Trump is not to blame. Who's going ham? What did I miss in the last 4 minutes?
Oh, I did a little rant against what's her face because she said we're not a nation in decline.
Who said that? Who's what's her face? The one that I said was
whatever her name is. Let me go find
Karen McCarran or whatever the hell.
Yeah. So this, and then it led to where did it go? Anyway, she said we are not a nation in decline. And
Can I
I'm
ask
like,
a question? Put that. I don't know why I can't see it. Put that back up real quick. Why is it? And I love animals more than anybody else. Why is it that it's always the deranged leftists that feel the need to put their animal, and it's a disservice to the dog, because I'm sure the dog is fantastic. But
Right.
Why is it that every ultra leftist decides I don't want to show my face, I'm going to put my cat or my dog as my main picture? I don't know. It's part of Trump derangement syndrome. That speech, after watching Karine Jean-Pierre's thing earlier today saying Biden will answer all questions tonight.
oh yeah, thank you for reminding me.
He answered nothing, did not talk about how the decision was made, why the decision was made, any of these things. And I also, now I'm going to go full-blown conspiracy theorist. I'm going full cash here.
Uh-oh.
I know that I heard you saying you thought it was recorded.
Yes.
I think it was recorded when he got sick.
No, I don't doubt that. I was going to pose that question to you. When was it recorded?
I think this was recorded in a private setting. I still, until we see Joe Biden answer live questions.
Correct.
And I know that I saw him getting off the plane. Some guy stumbled up,
Mhm.
looked back, laughed at the camera. Until I see him answering live questions, I don't know if I believe he's alive.
No, I said that pre-show, not pre-show, but before he came on.
That
Because-
literally, to me, I pictured, the reports of him having the health crisis in Vegas, like, Jesus, dog is berserk, kicked everything. I feel like they've, and again, not to say that they don't have, like in Delaware, he could have a White House, he could have an Oval Office set up.
Oh, dude, he built an underground bunker, right?
Right.
That is Delaware. It's probably all set up with everything.
I just don't believe. I don't believe.
Yeah.
I
don't.
I need to see him in a press conference.
That's what I posed the question to everybody before he came on, and said, if it's recorded, is this proof of life? And I am so interested in Emily's comment. That's exactly it.
Yeah, because he mentioned political violence.
Correct.
Like, what's going on near the Capitol today is ridiculous.
It's
like,
awful.
and it proves even more of my pro-Israel in this instance stance. Flawed
Right.
government, Benjamin Netanyahu, possibly a war criminal. I get it,
Mhm.
but like, I have so many questions, and he didn't answer a single effing one.
Not one. And that KJP was like, oh yeah, he's gonna answer everything. Like when she went on The View, and it was like, oh, he'll do his video, you'll have everything. And I'm like, I gotta remember this, like, because he's gonna have his speech, and I didn't remember until you said it. Now he didn't answer a damn thing.
A damn thing.
It's the part. Also, I'm proud of my wife for even knowing what was going on today, even though she probably saw it all over my computer screens while I was working. But yeah, it's chaos in Washington, D.C. today and in New York. Did you know we found a pipe bomb out in public in New York City today?
No.
Did you also see, we talked
That
about
that doesn't agree with his statement that cities are safer than ever. What the fuck are you talking about? Cities are not safer than ever. Some statistics look safer. That's because you can't even report crimes anymore and you're not convicting people, you human sludge.
Yes. Well, we're safer, but then we have more illegal immigrants killing more Americans than we have ever had in history. Like, you're seeing a lot more Americans die at the hands of illegal immigrants in this nation in the last year than we probably ever have. You can't.
His whole thing, there was not a single thing accurate about his belief system, but he doesn't get fact checked. He doesn't get.
Correct. Do you know about this one? Did you hear this when I said it earlier?
No.
So, 2 U.S. fighter jets were sent up to intercept 2 Russian and Chinese. So a total of 4 bomber planes came up into our airspace in Alaska today, about an hour and a half ago now. And they did not cross into our airspace, but they were pretty damn close enough that we had to send up 2 fighter jets.
Which our fighter jets are not as good as their fighter jets, which is even more
Eh,
disgusting.
I don't trust Chinese built things, so we'll
We're
see.
using it. We have Chinese parts in all of our stuff. Okay. Anyways, so I was like, I'm not gonna go talk about this speech. It's probably gonna go long. No, it didn't go long because he doesn't have the capability of going long.
He did go 13 minutes. That was a lot longer than I thought. I thought we were gonna get like 3.
Jill was like, "Oh, that's more than Mama usually gets." Back in the '80s, last time I was able to. He brought up the whole Scranton kid from Scranton with a stutter made it this far. I listened to some old clips of him in his 30s, 20s. What is this stutter that he always talks about? Was he talking about as a little kid?
Well, he did have an aneurysm back in the 80s.
Did the stutter start after that?
I don't know, but I was just recently learned that he had an aneurysm from the 80s. And,
I knew that.
And so I wonder if it came from that.
No, Biden stuttered as a child. I didn't realize
really?
that.
Really?
Biden stutter, how a childhood battle shaped his approach. Fun fact to everybody watching right now, especially to the people on the left that are like, how can you make fun of his stutter? It's blah, 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 blah. You're making fun of handicap and the disabled. Guess what? I got fun fact. I had a stutter growing up, literally had a stutter. I am a professional speaker. Once you get over it, this is not something that plagues your life.
Yeah, let me hang on. Cash is texting us. I'm gonna send him a link.
Is he not connected to the StreamYard anymore? What the hell?
I told you he got his own.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I told you pre-show yesterday.
Why did he get his own?
We'll talk about that later.
Does he not love us?
I'm replying to his text right now.
Yeah, he stuttered as a kid. And this comment, he spoke very good for being Joe Biden. That shows how little we expect out of him because he didn't finish a lot of words. He still slurred. The guy is past his prime. Past his prime.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. Overall, it's interesting that Kamala is already being propped up a lot. And we've only 36 hours into this, and everybody's already behind her. So that tells me this was all planned. It was all just trying to get the Biden family to back down.
They already have the marketing in place.
Right.
They've had this set up. They just released the $80-something million in funds, which is, Mike Johnson is already saying that it's illegal what was done. All I know is it's not illegal. I don't think it is. All I know is this is. It's a lot. I see the Project 2025. There's a Blaze Media posted something. And again, I'm not a huge Heritage Foundation fan, obviously, but there's a video that I want to watch. Heritage Foundation debunks left's lies about Project 2025 on debut of Blaze News tonight. So I want to watch that video because I want to be able to have speaking points. The only speaking point I feel like I need to know right now is the fact that Donald Trump has not been in support of Project 2025.
Sure.
He's talked against it. And you know what? Out of 900 and something pages, for them to all be finding lines that they don't like, I think it shows that it's just, and it's 2 years old. It's a desperate attempt to have material to go against. And I sent you and Cash the link of what they are sharing everywhere, which is, where is it? Gen Z's Guide to Project 2025, votersoftomorrow.org. And it is a just absolute graphic masterpiece of showing why not to vote for Donald Trump. So as much as I say there's no way Trump can lose at this point unless they rig it, this Project 2025, if they continue to execute it the right way, it scares me. When you've got young people celebrating this whole brat thing with Krusty the Clown,
Yeah.
that legitimately is they're celebrating when she sounds dumb. If you are a young person, I want you to know I think highly enough to where you shouldn't be marketed to based on showing the dumb moments of the potential future president of this country. Like, yeah, you can show some of Trump's comedy being off color, like, oh, that you like that, they're showing moments where Kamala Harris is a cackling moron and they're celebrating it, and they're showing it to Gen Z like, this is our girl, because you could be a little bit zany and messy. No, as the president, you got to be a boss. She doesn't even know where the friggin' border is.
Oh, absolutely. Well, she's been to the border. I've been to the border.
Never been to Europe.
Hey, Lenny, I heard that also. Did you hear this, Russo? That Joe Biden has had a serious stroke in the last 18 months.
That would explain. I mean, he was in there's a clip of him that Trump used before the 2020 election, and he was bad.
Mm-hmm.
But he's way worse now. And it's funny, like Crowder was showing that the other day, like in response, people like, I'm so surprised. Like, Trump had this ad in 2019, 2020, beginning of 2020, showing this is Biden making mistakes and gaffes and brain farts then. It is drastically escalated, and I would say, yeah, about the last year and a half. So that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. And so that's where, because you can clearly see, like, over the last 18 months, he has declined significantly. He probably did okay for the first couple years as being president, like it was maintained, but he was also hidden quite a bit. So it was hard. But over the last little bit, we've seen a lot more of him because he's had to for campaigning, and you start seeing all of the problems. So I wouldn't be surprised. I want to address Project 2025. Why do they keep saying Trump's Project 2025? Is because they are taking a page out of the Republican game book. Like everything on the right, they always have agenda names. Like they come out with Agenda 30 or I can't think of the other ones right now, but there's a bunch of them. That's just what's from their playbook that is usually done. And so now they're like, oh, we're going to do it. And we're going to say it's 2025, the year that Trump's going to take over. And so then they can paint this picture. But obviously, everything in Project 2025 is exaggerated and doesn't really make any sense with Trump's real plan. That's where Trump has put out Agenda 47, which might have to turn into Agenda 48 here in the next couple months. But we'll find out. Because I really do not believe Joe Biden is going to make it to November. I just don't.
Where's Cash? Is he coming?
I asked in a Facebook if he's going to join us. So
The whole I wouldn't go that far. Is it possible? I don't know. Like have you heard Kamala as the AI, the head of AI, by the way? As the head of AI, have you heard her explain AI before?
no.
Oh God, I want to find this. I also I was in the Pantsuit Nation group from several years ago, and it provides wall-to-wall entertainment, but it's scary because it gets tens of thousands of likes on every post that people put, which is fucking mortifying. But their shit is off the charts. Kamala Harris explaining AI. Oh wow, it came right up. Let's see if I can find this. Find the video.
See what else is going on.
I'm surprised she was the pick. I forgot what the Vegas odds on who the next Democrat nominee would be though.
It had to way swing now because Kamala's got to be the favorite. But she is the nominee. She got the delegation, all the delegates.
Well, she still has to be coronated. She still has to be
through
coronated.
the DNC, right?
Yeah. Something crazy can still happen. Honestly, here's what I think. I think that these next 2 weeks are first off, they are able to release the campaign funds. So you're going to see a lot of campaign funds go to anti-Trump ads, not necessarily full-blown Kamala ads. But they were able to do that with her being the presumptive nominee, being a part of the Biden-Harris ticket. I feel, and I think that she's showing enough popularity off the bat where they will keep her. But I think they were going to reassess in about 2 weeks and see where things were, and in terms of focus groups, polling, etc., to see if they were going to stick with her. I think they're going to stick with her at this point. I can't believe how well liked a woman that couldn't even get 1% in 2020.
She couldn't even get one delegate. She has 0 delegates from 2020.
Embarrassing.
That tells you a lot that educated voters didn't even want to put a single delegate in her corner.
And they still use, and Biden in his whatever speech you want to call that, still talks about the whole, we have to save democracy. Bro, you're pulling out just ended the democratic process for the Democrats.
Facts.
You turned it into this is the elements. It's a constitutional republic with heavy elements of democracy. And the heavy elements of democracy are the primary process. You have the democracy the democratic process to determine who your candidate will be. The Electoral College is constitutional republic in terms of national bills. You elect people to do things. They turned their democracy into the constitutional republic system by having the delegates be the one to get to choose. It's fascinating how fucking hypocritical these people are.
Oh, it's awful. And
right, here's her talking about AI.
Thing is, first of all, it's 2 letters. It means artificial intelligence, but ultimately what it is, it's about machine learning. And so the machine is taught. And part of the issue here is what information is going into the machine that will then determine, and we can predict then, if we think about what information is going in, what then will be produced.
Let's do the beginning.
Fancy thing. It's first of all, it's 2 letters. It means artificial.
It's this woman is just dumb. And by the way, be careful the memes that you put on social media, because rumor has it they are removing people, or they're banning people if you make mean memes to Kamala. I guarantee you can do whatever you want about Trump, but they're the AI, by the way, 2 letters. The AI of Facebook and social media platforms are deplatforming and removing people for that.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. I was going to look into it when I got back home from dinner just before I went live here. A couple people in my feed was saying that they were locked out of their account for 10 hours today for sharing a Kamala meme, which makes me mad because those are my favorite memes to share because I
good.
can't stand her.
They're so good.
I guess Cash is not joining us.
What a dick.
Okay.
What do you say?
Well, he's just went live on Instagram.
What a little. So why has he got his own StreamYard account? Just wanted to have one? Just wanted to waste the money?
Yeah, well, I told you before. I'll tell you backstage.
Okay.
But yeah, when it comes to this entire thing, when we have Joe Biden, I don't think he's alive. Everybody throw in the comments. Is he alive to you or is he gone? I don't think he's with us anymore. I
can't. I won't flat out say it, but I will say that I am desperately wanting a more solid proof of life.
100%. I agree with you, but there's way too many question marks right now, and it's who is running this country, and we're gonna call it out obvious because we've already been saying we've had a puppet in office for 4 years, but now we can really call it out. Who is running this country? And even the people on the left, the crazy lady that was in the comments that was saying our nation is not in a decline. Who's making decisions in this nation? It's not Joe Biden. Clearly. Like, when have you seen a president turning over powers of any sense while they're sitting in office, unless they are going to be out of contact for a while, then they turn it over to the VP. He's turning over powers to the Secretary of Treasury. Like, that's so weird. Weird. That's not normal. But whatever. Anyways, well, everybody be on the lookout. I might be going randomly live tonight as it gets dark. We know what the left likes to do when they have these gigantic protests. And so I'm going to keep an eye on it. If they go nuts, then I'll be jumping on and we'll be watching them and we'll have some fun talking about it because we haven't done that in a while. We have not had to cover some fun riots. And so I wanted to do that tonight, and we'll see what happens. Russo, what are your final words?
My final words are a conversation I actually had with a friend of mine earlier today, which is if we end up living in a Kamala Harris country, I can never say I'm that person that's like, I'm leaving this country. I will look for alternative places to spend the bulk of my time.
Sure.
I just because Kelly does horses and because obviously some of my main clients are probably in the United States, but I can do a lot of my stuff digitally. I will actively look to see where I can be an expatriate for 8 months of the year. I'll be honest.
Sure.
I wouldn't want to be here. I think that it's a process to leave this country. It takes time. And I think that starting to build the relationships in another country is something that I would have to plan for, because I think the end of America, and I'm not going to be a fearmonger in any way, shape, or form, but if Kamala wins, that means that most likely Congress will be blue as well. If she can it'll be a blue everything. And I don't want to live in a country run by people not from the opposite political spectrum. I don't want to live in a country where people where the crazies are running the insane asylum. That's what will happen. So what are we looking at? to report.
Well, no, I was just acknowledging Joe's comment, Joseph's comment. He sent a link to Bill O'Reilly talking about the 3 people that are running this country.
Oh, got it.
It's a 3 weeks old, or something like that. Yeah, but I'll have to give that a watch. Let me see here.
What's your final words, Casey?
Well, I'm gonna address a comment from Waz in here. What gigantic protest, dude? Have you not seen what's going on in Washington D.C. right now?
Did you see the video?
Like-
Did I send you guys the video, Casey? The video of the kid that interviewed a bunch of people in Ramina or some part of the Palestinian area, where he was talking to all these people, like, because we think that everybody's not pro Hamas, and they're like, the people out there hate Hamas. He talked to a
No.
bunch of people, and they're like, no, we love Hamas, and we really hate Israelis and Jews.
They're running around with them today. There's Hamas flags and people wearing green masks over their face, which is a symbol to Hamas.
Yeah.
And so they're running around with them today.
Well, right. And I'm talking not in Gaza, because Gaza is obviously war torn, but in that area right outside of Gaza, like one of the areas that's more Palestinian occupied, all those people, they love Hamas and they want Israelis and Jewish people, based on these interviews, gone, wiped off the face of the universe. They don't. And when they're asked about a 2-state solution, they don't want that. They want complete annihilation of Israelis. So the propaganda that everybody has been saying, and again, I know that I've been more entrenched in the pro-Israel side, the propaganda, it goes both ways. And I don't believe this whole thing that the people in Palestine really they would love the Jews and the Israelis. They don't. Is there a couple? Yeah, there's a couple, just like there's a couple of different, groups, but nope.
Yeah, Waz, it is still going on. That's why I've had this up on one of my other screens the whole time, is just to keep an eye on what's going on. This does remind me a lot of what happened in 2020. Back then, Suni and I would do like all night lives covering this stuff and showing you guys all of what's really going on, because nobody else is going to show you. The media is going to tell you it's peaceful protesting.
See what happens when you get started.
Yeah, that's the whole point. Is as soon as it gets dark, I think we got about 45 more minutes, and then it's going to start getting there, and we'll see how this goes. But on my final words, it's just the same as always. Don't trust the government. Like, they've been lying their asses off on both sides to us. You have Mike Johnson trying to make face and save his position for when Donald Trump gets reelected, which I think is going to happen anyways. I think he's going to keep him. But in general, this entire thing, I don't trust either side at this moment, because Congress should be calling for proof of life, like Lauren Boebert, but that's falling on deaf ears because no one wants to call it.
And no one trusts her anymore, which is
Yep.
a shame. I mean, as a pro-Israeli person, I think Netanyahu's got to go. Like, in order for them to regain trust back in a lot of ways. And I know he's out here, right, speaking. Yeah, I'm not a huge Bibi fan myself.
No.
And the thing is, people kept, like, the protesters talked about the fact that, and I was listening to them get interviewed earlier, they give billions of dollars to Israel. It has to stop. Yeah, we also give billions of dollars to we give billions of dollars to everybody. It's not like we're just pro-Israel and we only give money there. We give money to adversaries of Israel. We fund everybody. We're we're UNICEF. We give it to everybody. Right. So it's like, it's not like we're just focusing on Israel right now. Granted, we're focusing more on Ukraine than anything else, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous at this point.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing that's ridiculous. Did you see what they did to the Liberty Bell?
I saw the spray paint on one of the other signs that said something. What is that? Oh, geez.
They wrote all over it. They spray painted on the other side. Like, you can kind of see the spray paint right here. They destroyed a whole bunch of things today. And I shouldn't say destroyed, because we can get that stuff off. It's not hard, but it's still a disgrace to our country.
Isn't that supposed to be a federal, like, there's something along, is that not count as a federal offense or a felony or something along those lines?
In my opinion, it should be. It's a landmark. Landmarks, you shouldn't be able to vandalize.
Yeah, national parks, preservation, something along those lines.
But when do we hold these people accountable? We don't.
They spray painted the Christopher Columbus statue as well.
Yes, they did. They did all kinds of things today. And So on that note, yeah, I might be back live tonight. Ashley, I will be up if we have some craziness. If it's just them at this point, there's no more damage they really can do until they start lighting fires and stuff like that, breaking into buildings. They don't do that until it's dark. So I'm going to keep an eye on it. And if that does happen, I'm just going to randomly go live and we're going to go over it and see how it's going to go.
Holler.
So Russo, if you're going to be bored, feel free to come and join. But
You know that's a 50-50 at best. So.
yes, I do. Yes, I do. Which is why I didn't even text you guys. I was like, I'm just going to go live and cover this. So
Back
Well,
to
we'll
back
see.
to my marketing work right now. So.
all right, guys. Well, everybody have a great evening. I want to do a show tonight when covering this stuff, so I kind of hope they go nuts.
Why don't you
but
and
I
Emily?
also
You need
don't.
to get Emily a camera set up.
Oh no, she would not do that. She would not do that. Not at all. She'll sit over here. She's not over here right now. She's in another room, but she would sit over here and just laugh and just chime in every once in a while. But all right, guys. Well, everybody have a good night. You might see me later if things do get a little feisty in Washington, D.C.
Deuces.